What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most that do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy, I'm Don1, and welcome to another fabulous rendition of Tilly for this podcast. It's your host and moderator, I'm Don1. Feel free, be sure to hit the notification bell, share this live stream with your friends, family, and followers. If you want to further support the channel, all you have to do is hit the join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges, already struggle streaming, as well as sharing this YouTube channel, as well as this live stream with your friends, family, and followers. You can also further support the channel by not only hitting the join membership button, but super chats, super stickers, as well as you can hit the Cash app, $ I'm Don1. Welcome, 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 welcome. Today, we're going to have a fabulous show today. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff that went on this week, as well as the past couple of days. Most recently, the past couple of hours, all right, concerning, Nevada think they finally solved the case of Tupac Shakur, God rest his soul. And we'll get into all that. The first order of business, by the way, is the following. All right. We're going to be talking about Joe Budden response over backlash over scrapped TASHA Case interview. All right. Now, Joe Budden has recently responded after TASHA Case went off on him for shelving the recent interview they did together out of respect for Cardi B. While on Clubhouse for episode 6 of Joe Budden After Hours show, first and foremost, I didn't even know Clubhouse still existed, but nevertheless, I digress. On a recent episode of Joe Budden's Clubhouse, Joe Budden's After Hours show, the Slaughterhouse lyricist spoke about TASHA Case and why he decided otherwise not to release it. Okay. The girl work ethic is her work ethic. He began and she has it. Can't nobody take it away from her. I wanted to leave more for her. Clearly, on my part, there was, on his part, he had some doubts and concerns about it. My part with that whole her Cardi, they both seem to be entirely too passionate about whatever occurs for even the regular interview to go down. He added, but that interview wasn't coming out now because of Cardi. Like I already told her, that interview was probably legally, financially, and when you talk about the algorithm, it was a lot going on that in that particular interview. He would be foolish, him meaning Joe Budden, be foolish of me to just put out an interview with the girl that just got sued and lost $4 million without checking this. Okay. All of the other ish just happened to just happen while my lawyers were looking at this. Listen, if you play with pigs, you're going to get mud on yourself. All right. I've heard that old adage before. I don't have nothing to say that just with the type of energy I wouldn't have gotten for that her without meaning her. I think he's talking about TASHA Case. Like meeting her and hearing her story is like, oh, this is why you're like this. Okay. This is why some things are maybe too hindering your progress. Okay, that's okay. I think that's how they wanted to fit that in there. Hindering your progress. This is why there's levels to this. Okay, now Joe Budden and I see it on Hip Hop DX on X. I like to call it Twitter. They pretty much had this Joe Budden After Hours, Joe Budden After Dark, after the party, before the party, whatever. Joe Budden is talking about this on Clubhouse. Joe Budden was dragged by Tasha K on Instagram live Saturday, September 23rd for his decision not to release the interview. Tasha K began to say she wanted to be an interview by her former slaughterhouse member. She wanted to be interviewed by the former slaughterhouse member during the promo run for her upcoming comedy show to support Black media. I don't know what's going on with Tasha K, but we're going to talk about that. And she wanted to talk about it on his platform and is not afraid to allow the truth to come out, but still remain objective. Okay. I understand why nobody else with Joe, Tasha said. Joe is all bark but no bite. You say you going to do this, but then when you hear, oh, he's gotta come through, he has to comb through the interview, gotta make sure this and make sure that I body each and every of those Black men to the point of all of them said after they said they're done, uh, we're whining or winos, whatever. She continued, I sat outside. I had a conversation with this Black man. I said, what's sad is that we cannot, as Black media, stick together for the betterment for the people. He was like, Black media will never do it. And now he's literally owning up to his words. Okay. The Unwind with Tasha K star continued to tear into Joe Budden by saying his judgment is being clouded by the BBLs, referring to Cardi's cosmetic enhancement buttocks and bringing up past domestic violence allegations. I guess she's referring more to Joe Budden on that level. Cardi B sued Tasha K back in 2019 for what she believed was malice smearing campaign involving several false statements about her, including accusing her of having herpes, using a beer bottle as a sex toy when she was an exotic dancer, working as a prostitute, abused cocaine. Cardi was awarded more than $2.5 million in damages and another $1.3 million in legal fees when the judge sided with her January. Per the Chapter 11 filings, though, Tasha listed only $95 in her Chase account. Okay, so hey, look, it is what it is. I talked to you guys. We talked about this ad nauseum about Tasha K and Cardi B, and I said it through numerous interviews that the dynamic between Tasha K and Cardi B and the situation between the two, the allegations now proven to be false allegations from Tasha K's own mouth through the trial, saying, "Hey, all that stuff is not true. It's just entertainment. I was just being, first, she started before we even gotten to the point of them going to court. She was first under the umbrella. She's a journalist, and she's talking about how she, suffered through the journalistic career. She has journalistic integrities. These allegations that she placed on Cardi B. At that particular time, she's just reading what's going on social media. And I always tell people this: just because it's on social media, it doesn't necessarily mean it is true. And all of those allegations that she said about Cardi B was proven true. And some of those allegations she just made up. She even said it in the court proceedings when she was talking to the judge and when she was talking to the courtroom, like, hey, all of this stuff was just made up. It was just to get clicks. It was just to get ratings. And when you get clicks and ratings, particularly on YouTube, and you become the algorithm, at one point in time, Tasha K was the algorithm. All right. Everything, every time she hits the live button, she's the algorithm. Okay. She's the matrix. And it will, all of those live streams will blow up. And she made a ton of money just off of those episodes alone when she was talking about Cardi B. Now, we all know that Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, they got beef, and Tasha K was profiting off of the beef. Okay. She started saying that she was a Nicki fan. Even Nicki retweeted one of Tasha K's tweets. I guess that's like in support of Tasha, Nicki and Tasha K. They they had a partnership as far as a partnership as of they despise and hate Cardi B. Now, Nicki Minaj, she's like the old era of hip hop, and Cardi B is the new era of hip hop. And when you have someone that is competing in the same lane or in the same arena with you, sometimes it can go left. You can have hatred for that individual because competition. And I remember the old adage, competition is good. Competition is good. I remember Hard A Time saying that. And on a healthy competitive level, competition, and it was proven through the songs, competition was good. All right. At one point in time, Nicki Minaj, was blowing up the spot. She was the Matrix. Okay. Now it's Cardi B's domain. And now it's a domain that's shared by all female rappers. Now female rappers are just as large and just as big as the male artists. Okay. And it's due to large part of Nicki Minaj bringing more awareness to female hip hop, but Cardi B just taking it to another level. Now you got Meg Thee Stallion, Ice Spice, even though Ice Spice is more collaborating with Nicki Minaj, Sexy Red. You guys know how I feel about Sexy Red, Sukihana. There's a lot of female rappers out there, and they should, give their flowers. They should send flowers to not only Nicki Minaj but Cardi B. But that's what competition produces. Okay, competition means a healthy, competitive environment to whatever community that you're dominating, which is the music community. All right. So, Cardi B and Nicki was going back at one another on social media, and Tasha K saw that. And Tasha K, she really doesn't like Cardi B because of, her disdain of Cardi B, and just Cardi B is just everywhere, and she's the new biggest star. And Cardi B didn't welcome Tasha K in. She didn't welcome Tasha K's energy. And Tasha K, on a large portion, you deserve. You're the reason why Cardi B has issues with you. And Tasha K is no stranger, particularly in these YouTube streets. Once she was the type of person that everyone comes into her live streams. Also, told you guys about this on this very YouTube channel. She had some animosity towards Lovely T. Lovely T was the face of gossip and entertainment. When she did her live streams, when she does her video, she goes in depth. She wasn't partial. Well, she wasn't partial. She didn't take a side or anything like that. She told it like it was, and then she also laced it with her thoughts and her opinions, but she never picked a side on any story that she covered when she was talking about. And she gave the energy to males as well as females in this entertainment, in athletics and celebrity gossip and things of that nature. She didn't necessarily pick a side. Now, allegedly, she's a Cardi fan, but when you listen to her live streams, she's really not she's a fan of Nicki Minaj and Cardi B as artists. Okay, I like to use that word, artiste. But she didn't take it personal. She didn't choose one over the other. And Tasha K, obviously, like we said earlier, she chose Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj felt that, and she knew that Tasha K had issues with Cardi B, and Nicki Minaj had Cardi B. But like I said, going back to Lovely T, you know, uh, Tasha K didn't really have a good, healthy, competitive relationship with Lovely T, and that ended very sour. That ended very bad. From Tasha's perspective, Tasha was doing the same tactics that she was using with Cardi B. She was also using with Lovely T, and Tasha became an outcast, particularly in that community field. But this quote unquote black media that she wants to big up. Okay. So now fast forward into now, she's got the settlement on her head. She owes a lot of money to Cardi B. She turned a bad situation into promo. The old adage, excuse me, no matter if they're talking good or talking bad about you, as long as they continue to talk, you're going to thrive and you're going to, be popular. And that's, what her popularity is. It's not the fact that Tasha K, before she got to this point, it's not the fact that, she, gave you guys her thoughts and opinions on certain topics in the entertainment world. It's not the fact that her name just, reigns supreme, particularly in YouTube, particularly with black, quote unquote, black media, with her peers. She's more famous for the judgment that she has, what Cardi B has against her. And this is what Tasha K wanted in the beginning. She wanted to be popular. She wants to be a star. She wanted to be a hit. She wanted all the clout. Well, she got it. Okay. Now she's got everyone talking about her up to this point. And, Joe Budden took a chance on her where other people in other industries, when you talk about entertainment, when you're talking about podcasting, when you talk about, collaborations or doing collabos, there's not a lot of people out there that's willing to go the extra mile in support of Tasha K. And this was the interview where, Tasha K was going to tell her side of the story. And unfortunately, this interview is not going to air. Now, I said this in recent videos, particularly with Joe Budden and Tasha K. I felt like this was a ploy for Joe Budden by him saying that he's going to shelve the interview. I don't think Joe Budden was going to, quote unquote, shelve the interview. His lawyers, his legal team was going to go through that interview with a fine tooth comb to make sure that he's not going to get any lawsuits from Cardi B or from anyone else. And while they're going through it and they have to make re-edits and things of that nature or edit that podcast, I thought eventually this interview was going to make the light of day because Joe Budden is, he can promote Joe Budden better than anybody. All right. I knew that this interview was going to see the light of day. It may not see the light of day that Tasha K wanted because, like I said, when I read the article, Tasha K was on this publicity tour to, change, to have people out there, change their perspective about Tasha K, maybe, telling her side of the story from several outlets, from podcasting and through interviews. Maybe people would change their minds on how they really think about Tasha K or how Cardi B supporters put doubts into their mind. And she was doing this publicity tour because let's just face facts and face reality. Before she found herself in this situation, Tasha K wasn't going on a lot of interviews, doing a lot of podcasting or anything like that. Tasha K was interested in what? Tasha K. But now Tasha K is popular. She knows that her popularity is shrinking because a lot of people, have a negative perspective about Tasha K. All right. So when you're on this promotional tour, this is part of your promotional tour to show people that, hey, I have a side of the story that no one has talked about, or no one has interviewed me about. I want to share my side of the story because, Cardi B has been rampant, ever since the judgment. TASHA K Cardi B numbers are going up while TASHA K numbers are going down. All right. And, TASHA K is trying to do her best to not pay for this judgment. She even tried to go to Chapter 11. That didn't work. She tried moving her money around different accounts, different shell accounts, things of that nature. That's starting to not work. And the rubber's going to meet the road. There's going to be an end of this road where she's going to have to make some type of payments to this judgment. Okay. If not now, it's when. It's not if she makes them, it's when she's going to make them. Okay. And she's looking at it like, look, this shouldn't hurt me financially, but if I don't get these numbers up, if I don't get my popularity up at some aspect, this will financially cripple me. Okay. So, that's why TASHA K is doing all of these interviews. Now, she also did an interview with Adam 22 with No Jumper. You guys, everyone has told me about how they feel about Adam 22 and No Jumper. And she talked about in detail her disdain for Joe Budden. But she also had to look at it from the perspective, Joe Budden don't want to be in the same situation like you, all right, where he owes a hell of a lot of money, or he's going to take a hit popularity wise. Okay. And Joe Budden can't take too many hits popularity wise. All right. Joe Budden has a past, that was well documented in this article. Joe Budden has a past that, his past speaks in volume, how negative he is about women, but that is his past. He has some domestic violence incidents, and some people can look at that and say, well, Joe Budden history with women is not that good. All right. So Joe Budden has a past, and he also has a past with, the recent news concerning the Joe Budden podcast, Rory and Mal, that the saga continues on that. And it's just not looking good from that perspective, even though I feel like that chapter is about to be closed. When you look at Ice and Ish, well, more Ish, there's a contract dispute. Ish seems like he wants more money, and that's starting to make the rounds of social media, but it's not blowing up like Rory and Mal. It's not blowing up to that component. I don't think Ish want to take it to that point, but he does have a dispute with Joe Budden, and it's probably being settled more privately than publicly. And, good for them if they can reach a deal between the two. And now there's word that Flip, he's having issues with Joe Budden and his contract dispute. Okay. More recently, I forgot her name. Forgot her name that fast, that quick. The video vixen that is now, sort of like a moderator, or she sometimes. I'm trying to think of her name as I'm talking. I forgot her name. Megan. Now, is it Ford? Melissa Ford. Melissa Ford had an incident with Joe Budden where Joe recommended her to take a couple of days off. And even though that was the issue, it's not a huge issue. So there's trouble in paradise over there at the Joe Budden studio. And when you look at what's going on internally in your studio with the people that you work with, the colleagues that you work with, and now you're bringing this wildfire of a furnace of TASHA K. How many hits do you really want to take before you start wondering if you're going to even have a career in this field? Okay. So Joe Budden is trying to establish his name, particularly in Black media, just media in general. And he wants to be the #1 podcast. Still to this day, Joe Rogan is the #1 podcast. It's a Joe, but it's the wrong Joe. It's not Joe Budden, it's Joe Rogan. And, even Joe Rogan has issues, of what he says out of his podcast, but it doesn't go into this political fire or this political fire inferno where he's destroying himself from episode after episode after episode. And he takes care of the people that work around him. Where if you look at Joe Budden and you hear all this stuff going on internally, one would assume that he doesn't take care of his own in his own circle. So how is he going to take care of people that are outside his circle? Okay, then you got the domestic the domestic dispute incidents in his past. And Joe Budden has a checkered past. And there's a lot of people out there that don't really speak highly of Joe Budden, and now you're going to add more gas to the fire with this TASHA Case. I felt like this interview was going to get out. It was going to be served to the masses, but it is what it is. I thought eventually it was going to come out, but now he totally shelved this. He totally shelved this interview, and I still have hope that this interview will come out, but it's not going to come out the way TASHA Case intends to want to come out, because TASHA Case is fighting for her life in this entertainment field. She's doing a publicity tour for her comedy show. A lot of people say that her comedy show isn't as successful as she says it is on her live stream. The lead attorney went to one of her comedy shows. Now, this was before the show even started. He talked about how the seats were not filled. And, I feel like, there's going to be certain shows. I think it's going to be hit or miss with this comedy tour of hers. Some people, TASHA Case has to accept the fact and accept reality that she's not a likable person or an intriguing person people want to spend money to go see. All right. And I think she has hits and misses, more misses than hits on this comedy tour. She pretty much re-establish or change how she's viewed. She's no longer she's ditching the I'm the journalist label because it didn't help her in court. Now she's saying that she's an entertainer, she's a comedian. All of these are jokes and things of that nature, but the damage is done for TASHA Case. I don't see TASHA Case getting around her judgment against Cardi B. And like I said in other live streams and in other videos, it's not if she pays it, it's just the matter of fact of when she pays it. Okay. And it seems like there's trouble in paradise allegedly with her husband. Okay. So we went through all that. I'm not going to go check out those other live streams, those other videos of my coverage with TASHA Case. I'm not going to just add more time to this live stream, but yeah, I hope it works out. But sometimes I feel like eventually this interview is going to make its way to the public, but it's not going to be in the fashion of TASHA Case how she wants it. TASHA Case is still on this tour to rehabilitate her image, rehabilitate her career, and also make money in the process by promoting this comedy tour that she's having. So TASHA Case is trying to flip a dollar 6 ways around Sunday because she owes a lot of money. She owes a lot of money, and she's trying to make it fast. Okay. Cardi B is doing her best interpretation of JP Ripper, 87 cash now. I want my money now. Okay. So, it is what it is. We're going to move on to the next topic. But first and foremost, guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. Share this live stream with your friends, family, and followers. Support the live stream. by liking it, hitting the notification bell, sharing it with your friends, family, and followers. If you want to further support the channel, hit the join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges. Okay, as we move on to the next topic. The next topic, as soon as I hit this button, a lot of stuff happened in the news recently, and we're going to be talking about a topic that I remember to this day. All right, so just give me a second. We're going to be talking about Tupac and the situation that's news concerning Tupac. So yes, the AP is reporting living the last living suspect in the 1996 drive-by shooting of Tupac Shakur has been indicted in Las Vegas on murder charges. Okay, Las Vegas AP, a man who prosecutors said ordered the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur, was arrested and charged with murder Friday in a long-awaited breakthrough, one of hip-hop's most enduring mysteries. Dwayne or Durant, I'm gonna say Keefe D. Keefe D. Davis has been known to investigators as one of the. Hold up! Oh my God! Holy! All right. Okay. So, Cliffy, a man of Cliffy D, a long known to the investigators as one of the four suspects identified early in interviews. He isn't the accused gunman, but was described as the group ringleader by authorizing the ringleader Friday at news conference in the courts. In Nevada, you can be charged with a crime, including murder, if you help someone commit a murder. Cliffy D, who was the shot caller for the group, for the individuals that committed the crime, said Las Vegas Police Homicide Lieutenant Jason Johnson, he orchestrated the plan that was carried out. Okay. Cliffy D himself admitted in several interviews and his 2019 tell-all memoir, Compton Street Legend, that he provided the gun used in the drive-by shooting. Okay. Said Friday that Davis, his own public comments revealed the investigation. Now, Cliffy D, in his 60s, was arrested early Friday while on a walk near his home on the outskirts of Las Vegas, hours before prosecution announced to the court. Nevada grand jury that he had been indicted. The self-described gangster was on one count of murder with a deadly weapon. He has done in a court next week. The grand jury also voted to add sentencing to this murder charge for gang activities. He could spend up to an additional 20 years if found convicted. Okay. So, other relatable stories. Police seized the laptop, memoirs from his Las Vegas home, witnessing the Tupac killing. Tupac Shakur, long-awaited unsolved long unsolved killing again under the spotlight as police investigate a search in his home. After 30 years, there has been movement in the case of Tupac Shakur. Here's what you need to know. Hundreds of pages of transcripts released Friday provide a view into the month prosecution, which began in late July with testimony from former associates of Davis, friends of Shakur, and the state of retired police officers. involved in the case early on. Their testimony paints a picture for the jurors of a deep rift between Shakur's music label Death Row Records and Bad Boy Records, which had ties to and the representatives of Shakur rap rival Biggie Smalls. It started the whole West Coast East Coast rivalry that primarily defined the hip hop scene during the 1990s. One of Davis' former associates testified. The first ever arrest in this case came in Las Vegas mid-July, raiding Cliffy D's home, and I talked about that. The nearby city of okay, they took items from the home. Davis denied in the interview request Friday from jail, and court records does not list an attorney who can comment on his behalf. Phone and text messages to Davis and his wife were on Friday, and months since July the 17th when the search was done. In a statement Friday, the Tupac's sister, the rapper's sister, described the arrest as a victory. This is no doubt a pivotal moment. The silence of the past 27 years surrounding this case has been spoken loudly in our community. She said, "It's important for me, for the world, for the country, the justice system, and the people that acknowledge the gravity of the passing of this man, my brother, my son, my father." Okay. Now, on September the 7th, 1996, Shakur was in a BMW driven by Death Row Records founder Suge Knight. They were awaiting the red light near Las Vegas Strip while a Cadillac pulled up next to them and gunfire erupted. Shakur was shot multiple times and died a week later at the age of 25. Davis, in his memoir, said he was in the front seat of the Cadillac and had slipped a gun into the back seat from where he said the shots were fired. Okay. And we're just going to end it right here. This is just more from that awful night. And finally, the justice system is pretty much there's going to be justice for Tupac Shakur, even though God rest his soul, he done passed, but there's still justice, and his family is going to have justice. Cliffy D, as of right now, he was the guy that was. If you look at what they got on him, they got Cliffy D in the car when the shooting happened, and he already admitted that he gave the gun to the shooter, but he's going to be indicted for murder. Okay. And for those out there who are not familiar with how crime work, or how how charges work, particularly in court, particularly with murder, just a quick example. It's no different than like if your friends rob a bank and you're sitting in the car and you're the getaway driver, and your friends at the bank stole money. They beat up the security guard. Unfortunately, someone got shot, and then they run into the car. They hop in. You drive off. You speed off. You get away with it. And let's just say hypothetically, all your friends are either in jail or passed away due to old age or whatever, passed away of something, and you're like the only survivor of this bank robbery. Well, they're going to charge you, no matter if your friends are here or not here, or no matter how old this crime is, they're going to charge you like basically it doesn't matter if you was in the bank. It doesn't matter that you hit the guard. It doesn't matter if you shot, if someone got shot in the bank. They're going to charge you for those crimes. Okay. So you don't need it. You don't necessarily have to be in the place to be charged some very hefty and serious crimes. All right. And Clifford D, through his own admission, from his own memoirs, from him doing all these interviews with Vlad TV and whoever that put a mic in front of him, he may not been, and it depends on what type of evidence that they have, but we can say without a shadow of a doubt that he was in the car when Tupac Shakur passed away. And he also, from his own mouth, said that he passed the gun and he passed the gun to the person who shot him. Now, we don't know who was the gunman. Now, there's been a lot of speculation on who possibly could have been the gunman. And I can remember back in 1995, there was a whole bunch of unrealistic things that was said about this murder. At one point in time, people were accusing Suge Knight of orchestrating all this, because a lot of people, and a lot of people was talking about this Tupac story like it was Suge Knight, because Suge Knight knew that Tupac was going to fulfill his contract with him, and then he was going to become a free agent. And Tupac already talked about how it was going to be life after death row. Tupac was going to start his own record company. And I think the image of Tupac as this tough guy, thug life and all this stuff, I think he was going to leave all that stuff behind and turn a leaf and do things that he really wanted to do. A lot of people seem to forget that, Tupac, the early, before the thug life, Tupac was Brenda Had a Baby. Tupac was all for Black power and Black love and loving the community, telling stories from the community. And Tupac was like on that Black love tip, okay? And he was birthed from an era of Public Enemy and X-Clan and De La Soul. He was birthed from that generation of hip hop where it was all pro-positive about the Black community, okay? He, that's what his mindset was. That was his language. That was his demeanor. I mean, that's what he posed, that he was an embracive type of soul. And then we all know about him getting shot at the studio, and then also being convicted of sexual assault from a lady that she got I think her name was Jackson. She even got an interview from Vlad TV, but that's neither here nor there. Years after Tupac has passed, and he got wrong. A lot of people felt like he got wrongly convicted of that crime. And at that particular time, when you look at American history was very negative towards the Black community. And a lot of people had doubts and concerns about justice. And they felt like the only thing Tupac was guilty of was being a rich, successful Black man. So he got incarcerated, put in prison for a crime he did not commit. Spent a lot of years there. And he tried to figure out a way to get out from under prison. And lo and behold, Suge Knight came like an angel, even though he was an angel from hell. But Suge Knight had the money. He had the backing. He had the lawyers. Got Tupac out, and Tupac had to sign a contract. He said, in order for you to get out, hey, man, you're going to have to be under my record label, Death Row. And the saga continued. I mean, Tupac blew up with that double album, All Eyes on Me, he never looked back. Okay. And he was more famous and more popular uh, than ever. Hollywood wanted a piece of Tupac. Tupac was in a lot of films and a lot of movies. He was in Above the Rim before he went to prison. And Tupac was an extraordinary, talented human being who, like I said earlier, he was for uh, freedom and rights and Black love and the Black community. He was incredibly knowledgeable about our history as African Americans. He was like, he was like a politician, a rights advocate. Okay. And he was also a lot of people say that he was extraordinary as an actor. And we already know the music, so it's like this guy he was on top of all tops as far as incredibly knowledgeable and talented in all these fields. And that's why it hurt so much in the Black community, particularly in the hip hop culture. It was a huge hole in the hip hop culture that could not be replaced by, when Tupac passed away, God rest his soul. But his music lived on. And, it took a long time for particularly for the hip hop community particularly hip hop music, to get back on its stride. It took a lot of setbacks, and then we got the Ja Rules, the 50 Cent, and the Jay-Z was in that era as well as today's era. Okay. And it just took a while for the hip hop music, the hip hop culture to get back on track, because it was a huge loss. And then almost a year later, we lost Notorious B.I.G. And that even hurt it just, we're trying to get past the Tupac situation, and it hasn't even been a full year, and we lost another extraordinary rapper, storyteller, Notorious B.I.G. But you kept hearing these rumors that Suge Knight orchestrated the hit, and he was willing to sit in the car for Tupac to get shot. I even said back then, that's not really believable. You also heard rumors that Notorious B.I.G. Knew who orchestrated the hit, or knew who shot Tupac. Notorious B.I.G. in recent interviews denounced all that and said that was a lie, and I didn't believe that either. You even heard with the East Coast, West Coast thing, it got so tense that Diddy had some doing of the killing of Tupac Shakur. So you heard all these ridiculous rumors, and some of them were a lot of them were further from the truth. Didn't even really have an ounce of credibility. And that's when you started hearing Keefe D, and I think I'm mispronouncing his name. But guys, you guys know I butcher people's names on a constant, consistent basis. He's been blabbing and talking about it since 1995 till now. I mean, the man made a memoir. The man, he's been on podcasts. He have done interviews, and he even done an interview with Vlad TV. And it just seemed like the more times than not, when he would talk about this, he would pretty much indict himself. He would pretty much self-snitch on himself. And a lot of, if you read the report that's on CNN, they said that a lot of this stuff they already knew decades ago, but they couldn't prove without a shadow of a doubt that he was part of the killing or he orchestrated the killing. But they just needed more evidence, and the evidence that they have is him doing all of these interviews, pretty much, self-snitching on himself. And it just goes to show that if you followed what I read through the article, Like, this man doesn't even have an attorney that represents him. So um he either knows who killed Tupac or he killed Tupac, and he's just going to go ahead and go down and go to prison, because clout is a hell of a drug. Everybody wants to be popular. Everyone wants their 15 seconds of fame. Everybody wants to be famous for something. I just talked about the Tasha K thing. Tasha K was willing to do anything and everything, including selling her own soul, to be famous and popular. Now she's famous and popular. She got what she wanted, but it cost her, and it cost her a lot. And the same thing could be said about Keefe D. It cost him his freedom. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be popular. He wanted to be famous for something, and he got the fame. And like I said, people are willing to do anything to be famous, even sell their kids, their family, their own soul to be famous. And now he got what he wanted. Okay. He got what he wanted, and now he's sitting in jail. He's 60 years old. And the reports say that this man could possibly go to jail for 20 years, dude. I mean, 20 years. That's a long, 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 long time. I mean, this man is probably not going to get out until he's 80, if he gets out. Because, and I'm not saying, police. I mean, I'm not saying that people are going to try to, kill him in prison. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in protective custody, because of how famous Tupac was, how Tupac meant a lot for people, for people in that era, in that community, as well as kids. I mean, kids of the future. I mean, today's kids. A lot of today's kids know who Tupac was, okay, and what he means and meant to him. He's like a folk hero, okay. So, yeah, he's gonna be serving. He's 60. He's still in prison. He's still in jail. Um, and if he get convicted on these charges, he's going to serve a lot of time in prison. Okay. And it is what it is. He did all this for the clout. He did all this for the fame and this, that, and the third. And that's pretty much why he got convicted. He got convicted because he couldn't keep his mouth closed. But one way or another, if you commit a horrific crime, eventually it's going to catch up with you. Okay. Eventually it's going to catch up with you. Okay. Either, if you did a crime with someone else, maybe that someone else snitch on you, or new evidence comes where there's a witness that saw you, then you get, you get caught up that way, or you get caught up by just self-snitching on yourself. Okay. But, it is what it is. Justice will finally be served to the Tupac Shakur family. Too bad his mother couldn't see this day because she passed, years ago. God rest her soul as well. So the chapter is about to be closed on this. And there is some talk that, as far as, if Keefe D is the person who pulled the trigger, but he definitely was placed, as far as he gave the gun to the shooter. And he even said, and they even said that he said that if they pulled up the wrong way, he was willing to shoot Tupac if he had to, if they pulled the car around the wrong way. So yeah, dude, this is, I mean, the chapter is pretty much closed on this, and this possibility of the Notorious B.I.G. case is going to be solved because of this, because of what he knows about that murder. Okay. So we probably want to find out who actually killed not only Tupac Shakur, but the possibility of Notorious B.I.G. So the two families, the Smalls and the Shakurs, they're going to finally get justice for these murders. Okay, it's more likely for Tupac. It's down the road with Notorious B.I.G., but we might have a resolution and finally finally close this chapter. Okay, so yeah. Okay, but moving on, we're gonna talk about something else. Moving on from that, uh, you know, it's I mean, it's sad, it's real sad, but it it's just one of those situations that justice is going to be served. Okay, so oh, here we go. So the next topic is, and I did a video on this, and um, to me, I talked about it on a video. Go check it out. I uploaded that video this week. And Shannon Sharp is doing an interview on Brittany Reynolds on Club Shay Shay. And before we get into it, I first like to say this, okay? And like I said in the video, congratulations on Brittany Reynolds. Brittany, she's getting a lot of a lot of fame, and she's getting a lot of popularity over her recent podcast appearances. We talked about this, what was it, 2 weeks ago, how she was on another podcast behaving like a child. Some people feel like she was drinking on that podcast. Other people felt like she was allegedly on that powder. Okay, but that's allegedly or whatever. But and she was acting very immature and childish, throwing drinks on Shannon Bridges, the ex champion of boxing, throwing water on everybody and yelling and screaming, just behaving like a child. And I thought, we're done talking about Brittany Reynolds, other than her IG pics and posts. And I don't think that's blowing up. So I thought that was going to be over with, because before then, she was always doing these podcast appearances. Okay. And, she would just say or do stuff on these podcast appearances to go viral. And even though she was alleged to be drunk or alleged to be under some foreign substance, okay, allegedly, that's what the talk of the town is. I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought, even though she was drunk, I still felt like she was smart enough to know, hey, if I go viral on some of these podcasts, it'll keep my name in the algorithm. Okay. So congratulations to Brittany, because she landed on a podcast that is hugely successful. It's on the uptick, and that's Shannon Sharp Club Shay Shay. And I said in my video how this was probably started. It's probably started because of Brittany's agent probably had previous work with Shannon Sharp's agent, and he probably threw him a bone saying, hey, I could probably get Brittany Reynolds to be on Club Shay Shay. And that's probably how the inner workings of this happened. Plus, Deion Sanders was on Club Shay Shay. And Deion talked about, even on Club Shay Shay, that he asked for Brittany Reynolds to come to talk to his football players when he was the coach of Jacksonville State. So either one of those connections is why Brittany Reynolds is on Club Shay Shay. All right. And she talked about, she talked a lot. Brittany Reynolds revealed her body count. Shannon Sharp, he immediately needed a drink. Okay, we're going to talk about this body count, this quote unquote body count. Okay, Shannon Sharp got some shocking news. I don't know why this is news to Shannon Sharp. Yeah, whatever. During a recent interview Brittany Reynolds told the Pro Football Hall of Fame her body count, and he immediately needed a drink in the process. Reynolds appeared on Club Shay Shay to discuss many topics. At one point, when they broached the subject of sex, she told Sharp that she slept with 35 men in her life while she was completely shared this information. The former undisputed host immediately needed to take a shot and started with was what was in his glass before he grabbed the whole entire bottle, which is one of his drinks that he advertised on his show. Drinking from and pouring another shot. The 55-year-old media personality. Let me say this again. The 55-year-old media personality offered his crew shots as well, while Reynolds said, "Impressive, isn't that a word? If I'm judged for having great taste, it was a hilarious moment, true to Sharp's animated nature, but many fans doubt whether Reynolds was actually telling the truth, and I even talked about that. And she lied to get to be okay. She's lying. She's lying. It got to be more. One user wrote in the comments to DJ Academic's post in the conversation. Another user didn't see it as a big deal, writing, "For her age, 35, isn't even that crazy. I thought she was going to say 335." Some users on Sharp's reaction while he was waiting to join Reynolds listed her men sleeping with trying to be 36. Okay. One wrote multiple laugh emojis. Made it 36 after the interview. Another user wrote, "Drinking Cognac by the fireplace one-on-one is as easy as touching down. Sharp is no stranger of hearing shocking things," which won alongside Skip Bayless on Undisputed for 7 years. He left that show early this summer and recently joined ESPN First Take, where he and Stephen A. Smith has already had provided multiple hilarious moments. I don't think they have multiple hilarious moments, but hey, that's neither here nor there. He kindly told Smith during a recent episode on his podcast that one time when Skip said he was jealous of Tom Brady, he made him feel disrespectful to the point of disrespect, to respect someone's physical. Okay, this is just old news, and this is just old news. Okay, they're still talking about Skip Bayless and the dynamic between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, which a lot of people have spoken highly of Skip Bayless. Michael Irvin had a moment with Skip Bayless. Deion Sanders had a moment with Skip Bayless. Lil Wayne echoed those same sentiments. Keyshawn Johnson echoed those same sentiments. Richard Sherman has said, speak highly of Skip Bayless. And the one thing people don't give Skip Bayless his flowers, and I talked about this on my own podcast, Just My Opinion podcast. That's also on YouTube. Rate, comment, subscribe, by the way. But I gave on season 3, which is this season, I gave you guys, I talked the good, the bad, the ugly between the dynamic between Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, and Jason Whitlock, okay, and Marcellus Wiley, that era of sports media. And the one thing a lot of people don't give Skip his flowers or give Skip his props. Skip really, if it wasn't for Skip, there would be no Stephen A. Smith. It would be no Stephen A. Smith because people viewed Stephen A. Smith, particularly in television media, as a loudmouth, doesn't know what he's talking about. There was not a lot of opportunities for Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Even when Stephen A. Smith trying to do his own thing by appearing on several sports shows, Stephen A. Smith could never get to the point where he was if he just did it on his own lonely. So if it wasn't for Skip Bayless giving him an opportunity to join him on First and 10 as one of the debaters, and then eventually Stephen A. Smith Skip Bayless grown accustomed to Stephen A. Smith and had him on a regular appearance on First and 10. Now it's First Take. All right. If it wasn't for Skip Bayless, there would be no Stephen A. Smith. And if it wasn't for Skip Bayless, it wouldn't even be no Shannon Sharpe. A lot of people seem to forget that Shannon Sharpe had run amok of his own credibility. Okay, the incident at CBS Sports, he was bouncing around from several networks as a part-time analyst. He was once doing Twitch. That's how bad that and desperate it got for Shannon Sharpe. People seem to forget that it was at one point Shannon Sharpe was doing Twitch on Sunday because he couldn't get jobs or opportunities anywhere else. So if it wasn't for Skip Bayless just doing that much for Shannon Sharpe, there would be no Shannon Sharpe, okay? And it definitely would not be a Michael Irvin, because when Michael Irvin, more recently in the news, some woman accused him of sexual harassment. ESPN dropped him. They just got rid of him. You know, they didn't even wait for the news to settle, okay? The news was still cold. It was still fresh and cold. There was no evidence proving whether or not Michael Irvin was accused of this or not. ESPN dropped him, okay? This is the same network that still hired Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith was, and this was like just a while back when the Ray Rice incident, there was at one point ESPN was about to drop Stephen A. Smith, but Skip Bayless still stayed in his corner. But yeah, Michael Irvin got dropped by ESPN. No one else wanted the services of Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was still sort of kind of suspended at the NFL Network. But when it came out that these things were untrue, and before these things became untrue, Skip Bayless said, hey, where one door closes, another door will open. I will take you in over here at Undisputed. And now comes word that all this stuff that this lady was spewing was a total lie. And now he has a lawsuit with the hotel and has a lawsuit with the woman. And I hope Michael Irvin gets every dime from this hotel and from this woman, because you shouldn't be going around here spewing nonsense and spewing lies on someone, because when you do that, you attack someone's credibility and their reputation, and you also jeopardize them as far as making an honest and decent living. Okay, so when Michael Irvin got when the facts come that Michael Irvin did not do these things, and even before that, Skip Bayless took him. Okay, so when everyone else was trying to throw away Michael Irvin, Skip Bayless took him. Skip Bayless believed in him. Okay, so a lot of people don't give Skip Bayless his props. Okay, and even though Shannon Sharpe placating and saying that he had an extraordinary time with Skip Bayless, and Skip Bayless gave him an opportunity where others didn't give him an opportunity. A lot of people were spewing on social media that Skip Bayless is jealous of Shannon Sharpe's popularity. A lot of people were talking about Skip Bayless was the reason why Shannon Sharpe is no longer at Fox Sports 1. And then you got Stephen A. Smith echoing those same sentiments. you had a lot of people at one time throwing darts at at Skip Bayless. Why? Because Skip Bayless, it's easy to do that. Skip Bayless is the guy that you love to hate. So when anyone says anything about Skip Bayless, they're going to immediately believe it. Okay, he's the biggest target in social media. All right, and it's kind of shameful that Stephen A. Smith starting to throw arrows at Skip Bayless because let's just face facts and face reality. I don't know what's going on with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. Stephen A. Smith got on a recent podcast and said that if it wasn't for him, for the first take numbers didn't the first take numbers, well, the ratings would not be going up on First Take. And Skip Bayless said that, hey, yo, wait a minute, we was pulling those numbers even before you got into the woodwork. Okay, pretty much saying, hey, it's not only me, Skip Bayless, it was other people. It was Woody Page. It was a lot of people that were the Two Live Stews. It was a lot of people that got those numbers and got First and 10. I think it was called First and 10. Got those numbers up to the point where ESPN said, won't we just cancel Cold Pizza and just do First and 10 full time? Okay, so it was a lot of people that played an amazing factor of First and 10, and First and 10 is the one that birthed First Take. Okay, and I don't know why, and then everyone says Stephen A. Smith has this ego that's the size of Montana. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't work with Stephen A. Smith, but it just seems like Stephen A. Smith was leaving a lot of meat on that bone, not really giving Skip Bayless his flowers, not giving Woody Page his flowers, not giving the Two Live Stews their flowers. It was a lot of people that made First and 10 so popular to the point where the higher ups at ESPN canceled Cold Pizza and just did First and 10 because they looked at the ratings, and the ratings spiked when the First and 10 subjects would appear throughout first Cold Pizza. Cold Pizza wasn't popular because of Cold Pizza. Cold Pizza was popular because of First and 10. All right. So, yeah, so you got all this going on, but let's get back into the topic. Yeah, sometimes when I go left, I go left. All right, from one story to another story. But back to this Brittany Reynolds thing, when she said her body count was 35, and I talked in my video how that's the biggest clip that if that's the biggest clip from this interview, this is not really a good interview. And I'll be honest with you, Club Shay Shay had a lot of intriguing people on that couch. Okay, you done had Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Stephen A. Smith, despite what y'all like or dislike. Okay, he had just about every famous entertainer, actor, actress, athlete on Club Shay Shay, other than Michael Jeffrey Jordan, other than LeBron James. He had some incredible, even in the political field. Okay, and I feel like out of all those interviews, this Brittany Reynolds interview is not going to reach those type of numbers. I think the clips will, and this one clip of her body count being 35, I find this completely laughable. And I said this in the video, and I'm going to say it right now. When you have someone that, and it doesn't matter if it's a male or female, someone that's extremely sexually active, that has sex on a constant, consistent basis, they're going to embellish their body count. They're going to embellish it to either make it extremely high, because they feel like with an extremely high body count, that just tells the next person that's interested in them that they're good in bed. All right. Or they're going to embellish and say it's extremely low. And in their mind and in their perspective, they're thinking, well, if I make this extremely low, it gives the opportunity for people that's curious about me to want to have sex. But either way, it does the following. it makes people want to have sex with you because they want to know what they're missing. Okay. And what's actually going on with you. Okay. So either way, it's going to make you extremely active. Hold on one second. Let me talk. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, either way, it's going to make you popular of how many people, of how high your body count is or how low your body count is. If you're desirable or attractive or interesting, people are going to have sex with you. Okay. And you know, to me, I feel like Brittany Reynolds, whatever her last name is, I think it's extremely low. And the reason why I think it's less than 35, and she pulled 35 out of the air. And I don't know why people can't connect the dots on this. Brittany Reynolds is 35. So the fact that she pulled 35 out of the air, she was either not prepared for Shannon Sharp for her to give her this question, and she just pulled a random number out of the air, and she pulled a familiar number out of her air, which is your age. So I just think this number is extremely low. And here's my reasoning why I feel like her body count is extremely low, because of how she perceives herself. Okay. And when Brittany Reynolds was the new it girl, when she was the next big booty girl, every summer produces the next big booty chick. All right. And at one point of time, everybody wanted a piece of Brittany Reynolds. Okay. She was going on college campuses recruiting up and coming NBA future stars. That's how she got her first baby daddy. Uh, you know, uh, because of that reason. She wanted to get impregnated. She wanted to get pregnant by these guys, with one of these guys be their baby mama. And she thought that the end result is that they're going to take care of her. She don't have to worry about working and things of that nature. And she got what she wanted. I think his name is Miles Bridges. He plays for the Charlotte Hornets. She got pregnant by him. Life was good for Brittany. All she gets to do is just take care of the baby and do social media. But you have to be careful when you're a content creator on social media. You can't believe everything your fans, your subscribers tell you in the comment section. And I'm pretty sure her DMs were blowing up. Even when she got pregnant by Bridges, her DMs was flooded of lurkers, of her of other athletes, of other celebrities wanting to smash Brittany Reynolds. And she's thinking, wait a minute. And then she also reading the comment section. And then she's going like, wait a minute, we need a detour from this previous plan, because I got what I wanted. I got pregnant by an NBA player. I'm being taken care of, but this is a possibility I can make a name for myself. And that's why I always say clout is a hell of a drug. Everyone wants to be famous for some reason. All right. And then she started believing and tasting her own Kool-Aid. She thought she was the best thing since sliced bread. And so when he dropped her, she said, no problem. I'm just going to just go out and just date other guys. And guess what? It didn't happen. Okay. It didn't happen like she wanted to materialize. Okay. You know, and you have to face facts, face reality. At that particular time, you know, there's only a short attention span for guys that are flooding your DMs, or guys that are, hitting the like button or the heart button on TikTok or Instagram. Eventually, those thirsty guys, they move on to other women, to younger women, to the next big booty chick, because every summer produces these big booty chicks. All right. So when she was no longer popular because of her ass, or no longer popular because of her being attractive, and there was other younger attractive women, you know, everyone moved on except Brittany Reynolds. Then she started to, do, the Rolling Loud. She was, one of the interviewers for the artist. She thought that she was going to get booed up by one of the rappers like Kodak Black, maybe for a smash and dash, but nothing serious than that. I think she was really looking for someone to take care of her. She said, okay, I got this, because after the child support hearings, she thought that she was going to get this crazy amount of money. It never happened. And then she had to move a different way. So then when she did the Rolling Loud, she would interview these artists, and she started to get all up on Kodak Black. And then she got up with these rappers, and a lot of these rappers hit it and quit it, and they done moved on. Okay. And, she didn't make money that way. Okay. Her popularity started to diminish. Okay. And now she's doing all of these, now more recently, that's all she does is be on these podcasts, and they interview her. There's nothing interesting about Brittany Reynolds coming out of her mouth. Brittany Reynolds is the perfect female, and I hate to use this terminology for any female, but Brittany Reynolds is a person that you admire her from her being attractive, and that's it. Once she starts opening her mouth, you start to see why she's in the situation that she's in. Now she's gonna get a hell of a lot. She's gonna get hell of a lot popular again. She's gonna be the flavor of the week. Rick Fox has already tweeted out that he would like to have a good time with Brittany Reynolds. He's willing to pay for it. Okay, Rick Fox. Okay, think of Rick Fox. Okay, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, "Who the hell is Rick Fox?" Okay, Rick Fox used to play in the NBA, won a title with the Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, and even at that time he was old. Rick Fox once married Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams back in the day was fine. Okay, there was a point of time when Rick Fox was in his prime. He can get it off the strength of him being Rick Fox. Okay, Rick Fox can just go into the club, pick any woman that he wants, and he's gonna have a good time with them later on that night. When Rick Fox was in his prime, when Rick Fox was out of his prime, he still had some pull here and there, but Rick Fox of today ain't that same type of Rick Fox. Ain't that same cat. Rick Fox is, now he's thirsty. He's lurking. And he tweeted to Shannon Sharp, how can I get with Brittany Reynolds? Okay. And, she's already talking about, and I think the next viral clip in Club Shay Shay, she talked about how many of these NBA players go broke dating her and things of that nature. I don't know what to believe with Brittany Reynolds, but like I said, she's the type of woman that, she's eye candy, but once she opens her mouth, she really doesn't have anything intriguing to say. She can be messy at times. And if you're a guy that likes mess, like Shannon Sharp is a messy individual. Okay. Now, did Shannon Sharp after the interview hit it? Probably did, or was trying to hit it? Probably did. The last time I saw Brittany Reynolds, particularly in social media, like her and Shaquille O'Neal went out on a date. Maybe Shaquille O'Neal hit it, but as soon as that video of them surfaced of them going into a restaurant, that's pretty much it. And that it was like a huge, with Brittany Reynolds being seen with Shaquille O'Neal. It was some dead air. Then she was on a podcast throwing water at everybody. Charleston White was there. Then some dead air, and now this Club Shay Shay appearance. Hey, I wish the best for Brittany Reynolds. If there's people out there, there's an audience that wants to, and let's not make no stones about it. Brittany Reynolds is incredibly attractive. Okay, you know, uh, beautiful. All right, takes care of herself, extremely beautiful. Uh, but Brittany Reynolds, once she opens her mouth, there's a reason why a lot of guys just pass on Brittany Reynolds. There's a reason why a lot of guys want to pump and dump it. Okay, there's a reason why a lot of guys don't take her seriously as, trying to be in a long-term relationship or be or marry Brittany Reynolds, because of, Brittany Reynolds, even though she's 35, she has the mindset of a child. Okay, and it's Brittany Reynolds is going to face facts and face reality. Once the body ain't as, as tight as it used to be, once you start getting older, once you're not, you're too tired to be so active, going to clubs and things of that nature. you know Mother Nature in Brittany Reynolds' spirit, in her soul, in her mind, is going to reach the end of the road and say, "Hey, it's time for us. It's time for us to start a new chapter. It's time for us to think about motherhood. Even though she has a child with Miles Bridges, it's time to just settle down and just be with someone and just have a normal life." Okay, it's going to be a time where Brittany Reynolds is going to be thinking about that. I'm sorry to spoil it, but it's going to be a point of time where Brittany Reynolds is going to say, "You know what? It's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun." You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a point of time where she's going to say, when her biological clock starts to ring out an alarm saying, "Hey, it's time for us to move into the next phase." Okay, so hey, it is what it is. All right, so that's all the main topics I got, and I'm gonna talk momentarily about news and notes. um the writers have reached an agreement with the studios, and there's no real disclosure in what they agreed to. But a lot of stuff that the writers wanted, they agreed to it. Not a lot, not everything, but there's a lot of stuff they agreed to. Now with this new agreement comes consequences, and I feel like those consequences are going to affect us as the consumer. One of those consequences is shortening the season for television shows. All right. Um, and I think Disney has already uh, orchestrated this lane, where normally a season, and back in the day, back in the 90s, a season would last like 20 episodes, and then from the 90s on they started shrinking to 15 episodes, then 12 episodes. Okay, now if you look at anything on Disney Plus, what Disney Disney Plus, a lot of those episodes are like 6 episodes, the 6 shows. That's it. And then you have to wait till the next season. I feel like this mod, this mode of business is going to affect all the television shows across the border. Okay, not only the satellite and cable network shows, but your streaming services. So, like a show, I say an episode is like 10 episodes. I mean, a season is like 10 episodes. That's a good season. But now everyone's going to take this model, and they're going to, it's going to be spread out, and it's going to affect all television shows. And now seasons are going to be six shows. They also agreed to AI, so they get a portion of the writers get a portion of AI control. Because let's just face facts, face reality. Face reality. Technology is evolving. It's not a decade. It's not 5 years. Technology is the evolution of technology is changing every single day. That's how fast technology is rising. And in particular with entertainment and with sports, they catch on a little bit late with the technology, particularly gaming. But now when you look at technology, it just changes every day. And this new AI, now AI is getting smarter and smarter. Now you got AI creating songs for artists of today. Like, there was an AI version of Drake made a new song, and it sounded just like Drake. You had one like Eminem. You got now. You got. There's a possibility where Tupac, an AI can generate new music for Tupac or Notorious B.I.G. Rappers that are no longer today. Um, I'm trying to think of the Philly rapper who lost his voice. Can't think of his name, but he's embracing this new technology. Beanie Siegel. Beanie Siegel is embracing this, and he's saying that he may use AI technology to create new songs for him since he lost his voice. Okay, and I think the DOC, who was a credible lyricist, was like an incredible rapper. Tragically lost his voice in a car accident, but he still was incredible with writing lyrics. Wrote a lot of lyrics for Dr. Dre and Snoop, as well as other artists out there. Now there's a possibility with DOC, and he did come out with a record, and he did speak the words line for line. But with studio technology, they got it. They got the album done from his behalf. Well, now with this new technology, who's to say if there's a demand for new DOC music, that AI can generate that music for him. Okay, so that's what. But back to this topic now. There's an understanding and an agreement with the studios and the writers when it comes to new technologies such as AI. They're not going to lose jobs because of it, and the revenue. There's just more boundaries with how they worded it in their contract. So yeah, you got that. So the writers are done, are pretty much done striking. They're still in they're still striking, sort of say, for the actors, but I've heard the end of the road for the actors. Since the writers got their deal, the actors are going to get their deal, and then that's going to the actors are going to reach an agreement with the studios. So it just seems like life is good for Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollyweird, however y'all want to describe Hollywood. It seems like Hollywood is getting back to doing shows and back to doing movies. Now you're starting to hear James Gunn talk about DC a lot more since the writers have agreed to a contract, and the actors are going to agree to a contract later on down the road. You see James Gunn starting to talk more about his new DC universe. You're starting to see a lot of production companies, a lot of directors start to speak highly of their new of their new projects. And this writer strike, this actor strike has had a delay with the amount of content. And I think it's going to affect a lot of streaming services, particularly a lot of streaming services on the outside looking in, like MGM Plus, like Paramount Plus. I feel like streaming services like that on the outside looking in are going to have a hard time to keep subscribers, particularly if there's no new seasons of their popular shows. Okay. When Disney is slowly cranking out the content, trying to spread it out some, because they saw a foreseeable future of the writers and the actors going on strike. But there's going to be a delay with the content with them, particularly with Marvel. Okay. And I talked about James Gunn and DC, how that's going to affect them moving forward. But it seems like everything is good in Hollywood and Hollywood weird. You know, the writers are back writing. They agree to a contract, and the actors are going to agree to a contract as well. And life is good for them and moving on. All right. So um after that, let me see. I got some other topics to talk about. Let me look at my notes. Phil Spencer of Sony Gaming, he, is stepping down. A lot of people feel like he got fired. Uh, and if people feel that way, when they didn't say he got fired, but they're but they are saying that he is stepping down, and he's been with Sony for quite some time now. um Either you want to say stepping down or got fired. Either or, he's no longer at Sony. I feel like there's a lot of hardcore Sony fans that are pleased at the news that Lion Ryan is no longer at Sony. Did I say Phil Spencer in the beginning of this? If I did say that, I do apologize. It's Ryan. It's Ryan Lyon. A lot of people like to call him Ryan Lyon. He's no longer at Sony. He's stepping down or retiring. Either way, he's no longer gonna be at Sony. Have a lot of people wondering who's going to be the next honcho over there when it's talk about the foreseeable future of PlayStation and the PlayStation console itself. A lot of people are not too pleased with Ryan when he was when he took the helm. A lot of people think that the PlayStation 5, even though it's an extraordinary console, there haven't been a lot of games, particularly a lot of games that can test the hardware of the PlayStation 5. And there has been rumors and talk that there's going to be a PlayStation 5 Pro. And it just leaving people scratching their heads like, whoa, wait a minute. Y'all haven't even reached the potential of the PlayStation 5's hardware of a lot of these games. A lot of these games, and then a lot of these games are cross-gen games. A lot of these games can play on the PlayStation 4. Now, Ryan said in an interview, the games that are coming out in PlayStation 5, you cannot play these games on the PlayStation 4. And that's sort of being kind of with this cross-platforming, cross-gen, and things of that nature, with cloud streaming and things of that, and streaming in general. You can play these games either from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5. All right. So Ryan is no longer at Sony. A lot of people are speculating like who is going to Mark Sony is going to be running Sony. No one really knows who's going to be running Sony. At the end of the day, reading this news on the outside looking in, Sony has an incredible track record. When you talk about sales, the PlayStation 5, if it ain't number one, it's number two. As when you compare Sony to Nintendo, Microsoft is always in third. The Sony Gaming Corporation is healthier than it's ever been. Sony as a company has been as healthy as it's ever been. Sony, could have done like what Paramount and MGM Plus did and made their own streaming service app, but Sony didn't do that. They just going to make the content, and then the content is going to go on a lot of these platforms. You got Twisted Metal, the series on Peacock. Peacock has never shined. Peacock has been around for a while now. And now you've been hearing noise about Peacock and the subscriber count going up due to the Twisted Metal series. It's actually proven to be a good series. When I first heard about it and when I saw the trailer, I had my doubts about it. But after watching a whole entire season of Twisted Metal, they did a good job on that. And that Twisted Metal is going to be greenlighted for season 2 for Peacock. When you look at the Uncharted movie, even though it didn't make a lot of money that a lot of people thought it was going, hoping that it was going to make, it was still a solid movie. You got Gran Turismo, that's going to be coming out or is already out. I've heard mixed reviews about that as well. And there's another TV. Oh, The Last of Us. The Last of Us is on HBO Max, now known as the Max, and the Max numbers have propelled ever since The Last of Us season 1 premiered. Okay, so it seems like Sony as a media company is pointing in the right direction. As a gaming company, as a console maker, is pointing at the right direction, and uh, it's looking good. The future looks bright over there, even though when you talk about the Activision merge being bought out by Microsoft, when Bethesda was being bought out by Microsoft, when you heard all that, Sony never pivot from what they wanted to do, and what they want to do is be the dominant leader when it comes to when the next PlayStation come out. People are going to choose, do they want the next PlayStation or do they want the next Xbox console? Now, I've heard there's a lot of talk out there, particularly in the gaming community, that Nintendo would make a Switch Pro, and this Switch is going to have uh, better equipment in it and better software in it, where it can rival these next gen consoles. We have to wait and see, but normally Nintendo is always a generation behind, and that's the strategy moving forward. I feel Nintendo is going to take. I don't think Nintendo wants to be the leaders of having the most powerful console, even though a lot of people are hoping for that. More importantly, Phil Spencer and them, when you hear the leak documents and the emails that have been coming out that they're interested in buying Nintendo, I just don't think Nintendo is going to be sold to anybody. And the and they said that if they don't reach 50 million subscribers on Game Pass, they're going to leave the gaming industry. I don't necessarily believe that. And I've always been on record to tell you guys, I feel like Microsoft is done with making consoles and making hardware. If it gets to that point, I think Microsoft is going to be focusing more as far as the gaming community goes. Microsoft is a $1 trillion organization, but even a $1 trillion organization don't want to lose a lot of money, okay? Particularly on a bad investment. And that's how they're going to view Xbox gaming. I think they will shift and pivot from gaming from this perspective. I think they're going to be done making consoles. I think they're going to be done making well, they're already done with making exclusive games. I think they're going to be a third party where they're going to make games for Nintendo owners, PlayStation owners, and Game Pass owners. And if you look at Call of Duty, it's going to be made for all three it's going to be made for Nintendo, PlayStation, and PC. I think Starfield, that's a Bethesda project. Uh, I think it's going to eventually appear on a PlayStation console. Okay, that's my thought. That's my opinion about it. People may say otherwise, but I really do feel like it's going to make its appearance on either a Nintendo Switch or more powerful Nintendo Switch, if you believe what people are saying. And it's going to make its way on. It's going to make its way on a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation. So shout out to Mark. Shout out to Sony, whatever they're trying to do, and yeah. So other than that, I'm trying to figure out any other news and notes that came out. I can talk about real fast, real quick. Let me see here. Let me see here, y'all. Let me see here. Let me see. Hold on. Any news and notes? Okay, let's go here. This is always good. Okay, so a couple of news and notes. This was 7 hours ago on Twitter. Vlad TV revealed that the police contact him about Keefe D and the Tupac murders, but he declined to cooperate. Okay, and I'm pretty sure he's going to say, as a media personality, he considers himself a journalist, and if you are a journalist that's running around here telling everybody, hold up, I got a comment here, hold up, I ain't even see that, I got my tablet on dark. Okay, let's see this. Okay, what's up, Proud? Chris the Don King, salute. I really do appreciate that, Proud. I really do appreciate that. Sorry I got your message super late. But yeah, I'm about to wrap this puppy up. Damn, I didn't know we done spent an hour and 46 minutes on here. But nevertheless, I'm the best. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Vlad TV is going to say, hey, we're we're I'm a journalist, and if I'm known as a journalist that runs his mouth, then I'm not going to get any interviews, and without interviews, I can't make a living. So he's going to use the journalistic tag label because a lot of people are going to look at Vlad as a culture vulture, like you only more concerned about clicks and views than the culture of hip hop. That's what everyone's argument's going to be. I'm telling you, it's going to be that way. Okay, and let's look at something else here. Oh Lord, a Pacer rookie, Jason Jarson Walker, was sweating after he was handed a $9,000 tab. That was for a restaurant. I'm pretty sure they were just joking with him, with rookie hazing, with being a rookie, you got to, it's one of those type of things. Anyway, um Perko speaks, don't call me fake Dirk no more when everyone eats fake food. Don't call me fake Dirk no more when everybody's eating fake food. I don't know what he's talking about there. I'm pretty sure he's getting tired of being called Dirk. That's pretty much it. It's been pretty much Tupac. What's going on with Tupac's murder? And that's pretty much it. If I look at the timeline, let me look at the timeline. Yeah, let's look at the timeline. Let's go back here. Go into the timeline. Let's see what's trending. Saw X is out. Wrestling SmackDown premiered. Let's go to entertainment. That's what the field we're in. Lotto music is trending. Diddy is trending. Let's poke into Lotto, see what she's trending about. About some of her music that's been trending. It's nothing important. Diddy is trending. And by the way, did anyone check out Diddy's album? Diddy's album, Off the Grid, is out, and I'm telling you, that album is fire. That album's fire as hell, guys. It's y'all need to check that out, man. Y'all definitely need to check that out. Good album. Rick Ross is trending because of his collaboration with Meek Mill on a joint project. Rick Ross is also trending for still him and his beef with DJ Envy. He was on the Funk Flex morning show. Rick Ross promoting his collaboration with Meek Mill, and he also talked about his internal beef or his or trolling DJ Envy. DJ Envy and his partner, his real estate partner, his partner has been indicted with fraud, stealing a lot of money from a lot of realtors and a lot of influencers and entertainers. And your boy is caught up in the middle of that. And sometimes, now he's denouncing this guy, saying that they were not business partners, but they literally had the same office in the same building, and they literally had offices in walking distance. Now, DJ Envy said that just because we're in the same building or we have offices next and side by side doesn't mean I knew everything about his businesses. Now, DJ Envy is trying to separate himself from this guy, but if this guy, and it really depends on, this guy is a former, he's been locked up before, and if this guy is one of those guys that want to take everyone down with the ship, then DJ Envy is gonna find himself in some serious trouble. Now, I think financially, he's financially, it can destroy his empire. But if I was DJ Envy, I wouldn't be worrying about how much money I'm gonna be losing. I'll be more concerned about how much prison time I'm gonna be getting. All right. So DJ Envy, he's got a lot on his slate than to worry about whether or not he's going to serve the rest of his time in prison. Okay. So yeah. That's pretty much it, y'all. That's what's going on in news today. I do apologize that unfortunately I couldn't make the live last Saturday because of some things that I couldn't control. And hey man, y'all almost got 2 hours of me today. 2 hours. So I think I made it up in these 2 hours. So we talked about a lot of stuff. And I really do appreciate, first and foremost, I like to give a shout out to my graveyard audience who listened to me live on The Strength. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, my graveyard audience. I also like to give a shout out to my morning audience, people who just now woke up, who's getting ready to start the day. I like to thank both of my audiences on that level. Really do appreciate the support. You guys come in, and particularly when I'm live, you guys come in. All I ask is, if you do watch me, just hit the like button. It wouldn't also hurt if you hit the share, sharing this live stream with your friends, family, and followers. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, you guys, my graveyard crew, as well as my morning crew, I really do appreciate you guys coming in when I'm live. Just when you leave, just hit the like button. Hit the like button, or also hit the share button. Also hit the subscription button. I shouldn't be asking for too much, but guys, I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I also like to give a shout out to my day one subscribers, my day one supporters. I really do appreciate you guys. Doesn't matter. I really appreciate my day one supporters. You guys have been through this whole process, the journey, the grind. You guys have been through the ups, a lot of downs. but I think we got this ship pointed in the right direction. So I like to thank my day one supporters. I also like to thank my new subscribers, people who subscribed to me either years ago or just recently. I really do appreciate you guys subscribing to me. I really do appreciate that. Now, I also want to give you guys check out my OnlyFans review of The Dream. The Dream content on OnlyFans is smoking. All right. But no, seriously, I really do. Go support The Dream. She has some incredible content on her YouTube channel. If you're not ready to subscribe to her on OnlyFans, she has some incredible stuff going on over there. And she sent me a message on Instagram, which, by the way, I'm on Instagram. Too Early for This podcast is on Instagram. Just type in Too Early for This. Time you get to Too Early for This, I'm pretty much the only Instagram account with Too Early for This podcast. Now, I don't upload consistently on my Instagram platform. I do apologize, but shout out to The Dream on Instagram as well as YouTube. She messaged me on Instagram that she's going to be on her vlog tip. And I think that's great. I think there's a huge audience out there for vlogs. And I have seen a lot of vlogs get extremely popular. Um, you know, and me and her, me and her, we beg to differ. We agree to disagree on the car vlogs. I think and I said this months ago, that there's the car content just ain't popping no more. I just don't think that's, I just don't think if you only hang your hat on car content, I don't think the car content is popping like it used to pop. When you look at all these other YouTube influencers that were heavy in the car content, now they're moving on and doing other things. I think vlogging, personal vlogs are dope. Couple blogs are dope as well. And I think she's going to flourish just doing vlogs. You don't have to have a supermodel life to have a vlog. I think people gravitate to vlogs that are real, authentic, and personal, and also relatable. Okay. I think you can watch somebody and you see their everyday journey, their everyday grind, and you can appreciate that content more than someone just faking the funk, got this mansion, got all these cars that they don't own. They're living in a mansion that they're leasing. And I'm not throwing shots at anybody, but I think people appreciate people appreciate vlogs more that are more authentic, that you see their ups and downs, and just see them living their life. And I think vlogs are extremely popular. I was, even though I like car vlogs, I just thought that it was a temporary passion, and I just didn't think car vlogging was going to be the thing that you should hang your hat on. I would do car reviews. I would do reviews on car personalities in the car field, and that's how I met The Dream that way. And I started slowly but surely seeing the numbers, particularly in car vlogs, just declining. So, yeah. So that's my personal opinion on that. But give shout out to The Dream. Support her on her YouTube channel. Support her on her Instagram. And if you're able to, please support her on her OnlyFans. I think her OnlyFans is and I gave you guys my review on it. Go check out that video before it goes to my membership audience. I'm just going to keep it up a little bit longer, for you guys to check it out. I gave you some insight, my thoughts and my opinions on her OnlyFans. So go check her OnlyFans out, and just go support The Dream. the dream is doing crazy numbers, doing crazy stuff over there. Okay. So yeah, that's it for another fabulous rendition of Tear for this podcast. I hope you guys are going to be well entertained by this. 2 hours in. It's been a long time since I did a 2 hour podcast. So I had to make up for last week and also had to make up for this week. And please, as always, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this content with your friends, family, and followers. If you want to support Don Squad in the house, stand up. If you fully want to support the Don Squad movement, if you want to be a Don Squad member, hit that join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges. There are other videos that is for my membership audience. I'm going to upload them as well as new content from my membership audience. And we got a lot of stuff down the road from our membership audience. You can also, if you want to further support the channel, give me some super chat stickers, super chats, or you can hit the Keys app. $ I'm Chris Down One if you want to support me there. A lot of you guys have supported me on all three phases of that. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate that. If you guys want to donate to your boy, if you feel like, I think you should get a better microphone. I think you should get a better software, more effects, more sound effects, a sound machine or anything like that. Okay. Just get that big boy donation and just tell me in the description what you want me to purchase with this, or you're just doing it on the strength of love. Okay. So I really do appreciate all the support in all different phases from you guys. And I will see you guys next week. Next week, we're going to have another rendition of Tearly for this podcast. Feel free to check out videos that are going to be uploaded during the week. I pretty much like to upload videos consistently. I think Monday and maybe Wednesday are going to be the days where I upload separate videos. I think Thursday and Friday we're just going to save those topics for Too Early for This podcast. I think that's going to be the new format. Also, check out my other links in the description. Just uploaded a new episode. I'm Chris Down One podcast, and I'm going to be editing another episode of I'm Chris Down One podcast. I really do appreciate everyone that's been subscribing to me on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast indulgement from. Also subscribe to me on my other YouTube channels. Just My Opinion podcast is just mainly a sports channel. So if you are a sports nut, go check me out over there as well. All right. So I'm going to call it a day. I will see you guys when I see you, back better than ever. Hopefully, I'm going to be on Twitch in the next couple of hours. And I'm going to be streaming some games on there. So check me out on Twitch as well. I'm Chris Down One Gaming. The links are in the description below. All right. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. And I'm coming to you guys live from Ghost to Ghost. It's your boy. I'm Chris Down One, the official place to get you anything and everything pertaining to the social media, YouTube streets. How y'all living? I'm living swell. I'm up out of here. I hope everyone has a very productive Saturday. All right. See y'all. And I'm out. I'm gone.